Hello, everyone. Oh, shit. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Yet again! Oh, God. I hope my connection stays. I also hope that y'all have a good time. My chat is going right here. And hello, everyone, and welcome to stream. My name is Lynn. I am a queer content creator who has been out of the game for a little bit. So I am a little nervous about streaming today. However, I am excited because I was looking for content. I was like, I want to do Pride related things. And honestly, when I looked up Pride stuff to like try to react to, hi, how are you? Um, it was just like rude, conservative people. I'm not gonna lie, if you do want to see me react to that, I know Blair White just did hi. Oh my god, hi everyone. I know Blair White just did a video asking how many genders there are at a pride. She did it 2 years ago and she did it again. And I'm like, girl, please. So if you want to see me react to that next week, let me know. But I was like, I want something nice, something positive to react to. I don't like negativity on my channel, but like, how are you? I'm tired, y'all. I'm working 2 jobs. I need to get rid of at least one of them because this dude just isn't respecting my schedule and it sucks. Because I want to be able to make content for y'all. And I can't when it's supposed to be a part-time job, but I keep getting scheduled like 5 days a week. I'm like, no, that's not how we live our life. So yeah, I'm gonna be looking for another. You need a nap. I do need a nap. Do you believe in the power of cheese? I do. I just had mac and cheese and chicken and broccoli for dinner, so yes, I do. I absolutely adore cheese. So, I wanted something positive to react to for my first stream back. Please take care of yourself. Y'all, I just need. So, like, I'm a professional social media manager along with doing this. I would love to make this my full time stuff. Cheese is a great food. It is. It's underrated, and honestly, I want to go to France someday just to eat cheese and bread for a month. Um, but yeah, I'm a social media manager professionally as well as this, and I just need another part time social media job because I love the social media job I have. It's just in the area that I'm in, I need a little bit more money, which, don't we all? But yeah, cheese is amazing. A lactose intolerant Listen, I am also suffer from the lactose intolerant ness, so I completely understand it. But yeah, so that's been kind of going on. That's why I haven't really been doing anything because my schedule literally isn't allowing me to, which makes me so pressed because I love making content. I love being here for all of you. Anyway, like I was saying before, obviously you can tell I did not take my ADHD medication today. I like your hair. It looks so cool. Thank you. One of my roommates, their cousin cut it because I had to. The person who cut it originally didn't like it. I wanted a little bit more dramatic. So she was able to do it for me. And then the dye job is one of my other roommates. I'm thinking about putting like a light pastel-y pink in it because I think that'd be really cute. Um, but yes. Anyway, like I said, my ADHD. I have not had my meds today, but I was looking for like a positive thing to react to. And literally, Anthony Padilla, which I have reacted to him a couple times on here, put out an Ace Men Assumptions literally like 3 or 4 hours before I was watching it. I was like, hey, yo, guess what we're watching on stream tonight? Because I want to be streaming more and more consistently, and why the fuck not? So yeah. That's what we're gonna be doing today. Also, if I take like multiple bathroom breaks, it's because I'm trying to drink more water. This is my greens. This is my water. So I apologize if I go to the bathroom like 1,000 times in the next like hour and a half we're doing this. I want to get a shorter cut with purple dye, but my mom says no. Oh my god, we're reacting to a reaction video. Love it. Happy Pride. Happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride. Where's my little pride flag? It's over here somewhere. Hold up. I have both. I have. Yeah, no, I've got both of them. I got my little ace flag. I got my little gay flag. I wish I had a bi flag. I don't, and I also wish I had a non-binary flag that was like this little, because I think they're cute. But yeah, I'm just gonna put those in there, because yes. Happy Prime. Oh my god. From an ace dude, I love that you started stream right after I watched the video you're about to react to. Did you like it? How did you feel about it? How are we feeling? I'll start in like 3 minutes, because I'm ridiculous and like to start on like the O's or the 5s. Fun fact about me, I have to go to sleep, like I have to put down my phone and like go to bed on either the O's or the 5s. So if I'm like, if I watch a TikTok and it goes to like 10:41 or 42, I literally have to wait 3 minutes until how my mother didn't know I had autism. I will never know. I will never know. I have non-binary and trans-inspired outfits for Pride on Saturday. Listen, first of all, I'm so pressed I wasn't able to go to a Pride event that I went to last year, because it was in the middle of the month last year, and this month it was Sunday, and I was like, y'all, damn. Oh, cool, I'm autistic too. Hell yeah. It runs in the family. Yeah, I've got a bunch of cousins with like ADHD, autism. I'll share on Instagram. Yes, please, I want to go to a gay bar for my 21st birthday, as you should. There's a pretty decent gay bar in my area that I've gone to once or twice. I should go back. I get scared in public places. Like, listen, y'all, I need to take my own advice sometimes, because I need, like, I love the queer people in my life, but I also, like, crave, like, new things and, like, new community all of the time. And, yeah, I sometimes wish I was better at meeting people, because I am horrendous at it. I has it sad because Indie Pride is a Saturday, but my work decided we're all coming in for business needs? Ew. Okay, that's homophobic. That's like actually homophobic and transphobic. For real though. For real, plus I feel it will be safer environment. Yeah, I definitely feel that. Ugh, God. Okay. We're about to start the stream. Let me know if anything is funky. Please.
Have the language to be able to say, like, oh, I just find this person attractive, but I'm not trying to sleep with them.
Literally!
We're brought up in this society where it's all about, hey, you need to have sex.
You can think someone is pretty or attractive or whatever words you want to use without immediately need to jump to, I need to get them into bed.
And
Yo, I wish people understood this for real. Like, I've had to explain this to so many people and be like, hey, that person looks nice, that person's cute, I think that person's, like, aesthetic is attractive, or I think that person's attractive, and they're like, oh, so you're not asexual anymore? I'm like, no! I'm not saying I want to sleep with them! Oh my god.
then it was like the slow realization, not everybody feels like that. And it was like, oh.
You can't have fantasies or ideas or whatever, it still makes you a valid ace person. You have
Yeah.
all the sex in the world, none of the sex in the world, and you're still a valid ace person.
Oh my god, wait. It's so interesting because I feel like we never it's very rare that we see men, especially men of color, in the asexual community talk about their experiences. So I'm extremely excited for this, and seeing their perspective, because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's a very, I don't want to say woman-dominated, but very femme and very woman-dominated sexuality. So, like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this. Okay. Is there more than one mic picking up your voice? I thought it was asexual. No. No, it's just this one. Is it echoing? I haven't been able to, like, you know what it is? It's because the room itself echoes. Like, I can hear myself echoing right now. There's a major echo. Let me, hold up. Let me unplug and unplug. Is that better? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know if that's better before we start. Yeah, I think it really is just the room. Honestly, I've been, because I can literally hear it just bouncing off. It sounds about the same. It's mostly fine, probably just the room. It's genuinely because I have nothing here. So, like, the sound is just coming off of it. I'm gonna get, y'all, new thing for my budget of making this room better and my content better. Getting sound panels so this doesn't happen to me. Okay. I'll try not to talk then.
Okay, so first I want to get into why we're having this discussion. We had female asexuals in here a couple months ago, and a lot of people in the comments were like, okay, where's the ace guys? Where are the ace men? And we actually had a hard time finding ace men for this episode. Why do you think that was so hard? Is it like a statistical thing of like there's just not many ace men? Or is it a situation where men don't want to identify that way as much as women?
I honestly think that they don't want.
Also, if y'all hear my roommates, I 100% apologize. Just know they're all loud people.
To be identified that way. When we grow up, it's always, what do they call it? Locker room talk, whatever, like barbershop talk. It depends where you are. And it was like, it's all about just like sleeping with women. So when guys realize that they're not as into it as they think they should be, you know, it's like, that can't be a real thing. That can't be me. Yeah. So, yes, I think it's just because they deluded or fooled themselves into thinking that there's no way that I can not be into sex.
Particularly as men, we don't necessarily have the language to be able to describe that we're asexual. The idea that as men, we are always supposed to be in the pursuit of sex really...
Which I think is just such a disservice to men. And it's one of, like, the few things that I'll feel bad for men about in our society, is that they're just literally reduced down to, you have sex, you have to be in the pursuit of sex, or you're not. Oh, man.
I guess, you know, deludes the mind in a way where you can't actually think of something that's different.
I think a lot of part of it does fall under, like, you know, like patriarchal, like, standpoints, like this, like, men simply just are, and then like even the idea that they're like, it's like stable, it's like you have to fall into a way of thinking of being, and that itself is just hoisted on a lot of men, and so they don't necessarily think that they could be, because how could they be?
Can y'all talk to me about the first time you came to the conclusion that you were asexual?
I've always sort of known. I remember when I was in high school having my first, you know, romantic and sexual experiences where it didn't click. And I was like, well, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe it's an experience thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are on the asexual spectrum have that experience of like, oh, I must be doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with me. I know I definitely had that for sure.
knows, but that kept lasting and lasting and lasting year after year after year. And at some point, I had to come to the realization that maybe it's actually just something fundamental about me that's different. And so I would say I probably started identifying as asexual in 2017. And by that point, I was 24.
Mhm.
And keep in mind, I was in high school, 10 years prior to that. So it was a long journey, but I'm happy that I completed it.
When
Aw.
American Pie came out, like all the movies after that, what do they call them? Like the sex roms or the movies about the dude trying to get laid.
Right.
And I would remember watching all of those movies and thinking like that was the joke. Because like it just seemed so absurd to me until,
Oh my god.
Twitter and like all the forums opened up and these people were really going these rants. It's like, oh, you guys are serious about this.
Yo, I had the same experience. So like I completely understand where he's coming from when it like thinking that people wanted to have sex that bad as a joke, because I just never understood it. I never understood the chat is quiet, this is suspicious. It's because I'm afraid to talk now because of the echo. But I genuinely, for the longest time, like, I grew up in a very religious, they're planning world dominance. Domination. I like that. But also no. But I grew up in a very religious environment. We're eating cake and garlic bread. Listen, if y'all eat cake and garlic bread during streams, y'all do you. But yeah, I grew up in a very religious environment, so like it was just like, oh, you're not supposed to have sex until you're married. And then when I started being a teenager and they were talking more about like, having sex when you're married and like all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, oh, people really want to do that, and it still boggles my mind, even as like an asexual person who has done sexual things. While when I think about it, I'm like, y'all really do the most for this. Like I'm sorry, like you know what I mean? It's just so interesting. People assume I'm gay since I don't show interest in females. I didn't know about asexuality and they didn't either, so they just assumed I'm gay. I'm pretty stoned. Yo. I should do I don't think I can say that on YouTube, but I feel like I should do a stream with the Devil's Leaf at some point. Just to
And
see.
that's kind of when it started to click for me that, I may not be as much into it as other people are.
It was kind of just like a long process because I had grown up a lot with like 50s movies, and I had seen like some raunchy comedies, but it was like, it was kind of like what it was, but it was like all these like typically family movies, like what people would consider like family movies, like movies you'd show your parents, your grandparents, and it's like a lot of those. It's very romance heavy. I'm fairly romance heavy, so I was like, oh, this is what marriage is like. This is what relationships are like. And it's like as time went on, like things started to get more when they started calling them like more adult, like when they started adding sex into like, or at least like the demographic of like what you're watching. It's like there's sex in it, and it's like that's not something I cared about, but I was like, okay, maybe that's just like the next step. Being a younger man, there's just like a level of frustration in general. And so I was like just on the internet, on Tumblr, reading about like, here's this huge thread about asexuality. And I was like,
Not Tumblr,
this is
a vibing
stupid.
stream, yes.
Everybody feels like this. This is just an extra new label. Why? And then it was like the slow realization for the next couple of years that no, not everybody feels like that. And it was like,
Isn't that crazy though? Like, as an ace person, like as a person in general, you think like your experience is kind of universal. I'm screaming.
I just gotta get my bag.
You want to be on screen?
Well, I
For a
don't know
second?
what choice.
Wait, say hi to screen.
Hello. Do you want anything, Lynn?
From what?
Burritos?
No, I'm okay. I have my screen.
Okay.
Wait, say hi to screen. Say hi.
Hello.
Have a good time, y'all. Oh my god. Sorry. My roommates my god, y'all, my roommates are being so dumb right now. Hi, stranger. I'm streaming. I'm gonna get my bag. I know, I'm so sorry. I was on call with my girlfriend earlier, and she started having a pillow fight with her mom. It was so cute. Aw. Cameo from the roommate. I want to do a video with them so bad at some point. Your roommates are silly. Yeah, they really are. But anyway, what I was saying was, I completely relate to this because obviously when you're young and everything, you think that your experience are like the norm. Everyone experiences what you're experiencing, and so finding out that like people actually want to have sex and like actively pursue it and like think about it and read about it and watch it and all of like it boggled my mind, especially because I grew up in a religious context. So I was like, y'all are just bad. I was so confused because I was like, this is easy to like not do. Like hello? Oh god. Yeah. For Pride Month, all hetero, romantic, asexuals should automatically be straight A's.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna play y'all the clip from our last episode, and I want y'all to tell me how true this feels to y'all.
They assume like a man is gay if they're not talking about having a partner. It's like, oh, like maybe you're hiding a partner that is a man, and so that's why you're not like engaging in these like conversations.
Let's address the first big assumption that they discussed, that asexual men are just repressed gay men.
Well, I find it to be an interesting assumption as a guy who has a male partner. The entire idea, it's really based in this heteronormative idea that men want women, and really the only thing they want with women is sex. So the idea, it's almost like a jab
Which is so gross to me, but whatever.
at an asexual man when it's like, oh, you're actually just gay. And it's like, well, that's not true, right? Like, I can be asexual and still have any sort of partner that I want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's when we get into things like romanticism,
Yeah.
that is separate from sexuality.
I do.
Which people don't want to talk about. Like, people don't want to talk about the split attraction model isn't just for asexuals and aromantic people, but that's a bigger conversation the community does not want to have yet.
Think that there is something to be there's like a nice learning curve that happens sometimes. Like, even if you do know you're attracted to somebody, maybe you're not as attracted to that person as other people are.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that's where we get into the whole spectrum thing. But like,
Well,
it's very much so. It's like typically and I love to emphasize the point that gender, sexuality, it's all like fluid, it's changing. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be in one thing, but identifying it in the moment is also very important.
Okay, here's an insane take. Asexual men have low testosterone.
Do people really believe that? Oh my god. Do people genuinely think that asexual men just have low testosterone?
I wish I could comment on any of that.
I like it. It's a good hot take. You know, for an internet hot take, sure.
Ooh.
You know, it's got a little logic in there. It's
Yeah.
wrong, but it's got some logic.
I think some points it's specific. They thought about what part maybe, what section may have gone wrong.
As a trans ace dude, this is remarkably funny. That's amazing. I love that. There's no way people think that. It's a ridiculous assumption by allosexual, honestly. I really fucking think so. That's so bad. How can you... I have had someone... Because, like, we were talking... I don't think I was out to this coworker as ace. But we were talking about, like, the community or whatever, and asexuality got brought up, and he was like, oh yeah, it's like chemical imbalance. And I was like... He was like, yeah, there has to be, like, something wrong with you to, like, it's gotta be a chemical thing. And I was like, oh, you're not safe
And
anymore.
then they just put it out there.
Which was so sad because I loved it.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of us are doctors here. It sounds like the person who made this comment also is not a doctor. So we don't actually know if the correlation is real or not. I doubt it. But what I can say is it doesn't invalidate asexuality, right? That's a conversation between you and your doctor.
My
Even
chemicals have
beyond
been checked
asexuality
out.
or anything.
That
go
ain't
see
it.
your doctor, folks.
Okay, another...
No! Not the go see your doctor, folks. Jesus Christ.
insane take. Asexuality is not a preference. If you don't want to have sex, don't. Ain't that deep. It's not a sexuality.
I mean, everything's
Yeah.
everything's a sexuality. Like, I don't, I don't get like literally the idea, right? The idea, because again, this is the idea of who you want to have sex with. If it's no one, then that's how that works.
I think we
I
adopt these
wholeheartedly
labels and
agree.
these words in order to form community and to be able to communicate our preferences to the people that we run into in this life.
Correct.
And I think this idea of, well, if you don't want to have sex, just don't have sex. I think the real undertone of that comment is like, please shut up. I'm tired of like listening to you and making space for you.
But the thing is, it's not about just not wanting sex, because there are plenty of people who have sexual attraction who just choose to not have sex or don't have sex for whatever reason. And they just don't understand that it's just the lack of sexual attraction. Like, hello? Sexuality is who you are sexually attracted to do. Wouldn't it be a sexuality? Yes. Like, literally, yeah.
Surprise. Nothing's that deep. it's like if you don't, you can think about or not think about anything as much as you want. That's just how everything for the most part is. And it's like things, I also just take issue generally with like the things being deep, like things. It's like it's not that deep. It's like it can be to other people, and it can be for not. It's like maybe it's not for you.
Yep.
But it definitely is for other people.
Pokemoon wants to know what it's like to be around a group of guys who frequently make hypersexual jokes. Like, do you try to fit in, or does that just go?
I'm not gonna lie, this makes me uncomfortable. I have a threshold of like sexual jokes or comments that I can handle, and once it gets past that point and gets too graphic, I literally can't, and I like kind of nope out and I shut down because I'm like, I don't want to hear about this. I don't like it, and like it's weird.
Go over your head.
Part of it is you do want to fit in with the group.
No.
And so to some degree you can fake it and go along with the jokes. But on another side, I think it's maybe like a uniquely male thing. I guess you two could chime in as well, but at least for me, especially growing up, around, having a friend group that's mostly straight men, you kind of pick up on the language regardless. In a way, men, like, the idea of sex is almost this joke, right? Sort of how like we hear it and we're like, oh, you must be kidding. But for them, it's like a real sort of joke. It's like not a real thing. It's almost this idea of something. And so you can pick up on that language and you can participate if you so choose to. My go-to when I was younger was just anytime someone said something, that's what she said. Worked every time.
Yes.
That's a great joke,
I
though.
want to get into
I use
the
that one, I'm not
different
gonna
types
lie.
of attraction, because I feel like there's an assumption that the only type of attraction is sexual, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Can y'all get into that?
You can think someone is pretty or attractive or whatever words you want to use without immediately need to jump to, I need to get them into bed. And that's the thing that I
Literally.
have to try to explain to people. Because like a thing that I continuously heard, you wouldn't even know what to do with that if you had the chance. I
Oh,
mean, I
shit.
know what to do with it. I just don't want to. That is what
Yeah.
I tell people. Like, regardless of my ability to understand what I'm supposed to do with whoever, I don't have the desire to do it.
We actually don't even have the language to be able to say like, oh, I just find this person attractive, but I'm not trying to sleep with them. Right?
Yeah.
We're brought up
There-
in this system.
At least in the English language, there's no way to like say that. There's no way, at least I can think of, to really compliment someone without someone being like, oh, you want to like go do something with them? Which I'm like, no, I don't. Just about everything is more interesting to me, honestly.
Society where it's all about, hey, you need to have sex. And I even think most men probably aren't hypersexual the way they're described. I think most men probably just want to find a nice partner, settle down, maybe have a couple kids, who knows, and that's it.
Yeah, probably.
But sort of the way society brings us up makes it very difficult. And I think that's particularly unique to like male asexuals because, there's almost this expectation where women are like, oh, like doesn't really matter whether or not they want to have sex, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's that misogyny element to like being raised as a woman. But, you know, there's also that patriarchal element of being raised as a man where it's like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
You're supposed to have sex. And so us as asexual men, it becomes difficult to navigate that because all those excuses then come in.
I think it's important to note the different aspects. So you have the idea of asexuality, and that's like one big umbrella as like the sexual feelings. But then you have to think about what about romantic feelings, and a lot of people don't separate those. But it's important to note because you can have someone who maybe feels sexual
Romantic.
attraction, but does not feel romantic attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you can get to the aromanticism and like that. And then even those two have all their different like what intensities, levels, like again spectrum. But it's like you can get really into the nitty gritty of it.
Of course, we have like the sexuality spectrum as well, right? Just to start off, where, you know, we talk about being asexual, but there are various shades of that, right? That's why we have gray sexuality. I remember, I think the last time I was on like
Hold up.
this channel,
Hold
I
up.
identified as demisexual, you know, so I was more into like, I have to know someone before I would ever want to have sex with them. But, you know, as time goes along, right, I find myself being more and more asexual, and there's that fluidity to it, right? Where
It really is. Yeah. I know when I first joined the community, I think I want to say I fully identified as asexual, and then I realized about 2 or 3 years into identifying as ace as demisexual. It depends on who I'm talking to, whether or not I say I'm asexual or demisexual. Most of the time I just say I'm ace or queer or some variant so that people get the idea that, like, I'm not interested, but I'm also gay. But, yeah, I wish people understood that just because you're not sexually attracted to someone doesn't mean you're not romantically attracted to someone, and that society as a whole shouldn't feel bad for your partner if you are on the asexual spectrum or if you're not, like, sexually attracted to them all of the time. Because, like, I mean, are, like, allosexual people attracted to their partners, like, all of the time? Let me know.
you're never locked into one thing. We all have opportunity to change in our lives. Beyond even, you know, sexuality, there comes romanticism, which, you know, maybe you don't want to have sex, very much like me, but, you know, you do want to have some form of romantic relationship. Right?
Yeah.
And there's, you know, there's a lot that comes with a romantic relationship. There's even more than sex to it.
Also, I like both cake and garlic bread, chat. Do with that as you will. I cannot decide, but it really depends on the day whether or not I'm a cake ace or a garlic bread ace.
Even though people think they have to ship together.
From an asexual man, he says a big thing that people misunderstand is that many of us still experience sexual feelings, just not sexual attraction to other people.
I think that there is a difference between libido and sexual attraction. Like there is
Yes.
still that thing because we do still function like biologically in certain ways. And that's just a little bit different from like what I consider to be at least sexual attraction. I don't know how you feel, but
Sexual attraction, as far as I consider it, is like looking at someone and then, but kind of just like, I guess wanting to do anything that you would deem as sex. And that's kind of what it is, right? Like you also have to define how that would work for you. And at the end of the day, it would be kind of in that end. Like you said, like libido is honestly, I think, its own thing. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to get. Sexual feelings, I feel like it's just like the, what you would call like the desire to do something with someone.
Yeah, definitely.
The libido may be or may not be the actual want to do it.
right. It's like it gets down to like what definition are we going with that?
Yeah. Because I know, me personally, there are plenty of people that I can say that I'm sexually attracted to. But I also know that if I do say that, a bunch of people will get all, well, why don't you? It's like, this, absolutely not the same thing.
I've definitely
Yeah, I completely understand what he's talking about. Like, there's a difference between. This is also, I think it's called agosexuality or being agosexual. It's a part of the asexual spectrum where you can. You fantasize or read or watch things that have sexual content in it. But, like, the idea of you actually participating in it yourself just is like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So I feel like there is a difference between, like, the idea, like the far off notion of it and being okay with that versus you physically being there in the moment and being like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Like, there is definitely a difference. Do you ever wish for someone who is like really cuddly but close cuddle buddy or is who is committed to you but without any romantic or sexual attraction? Cuz like I am a romantic. So like I would love to have a cuddle buddy that I was like romantically attracted to. My thing is like I, because I have experienced sexual attraction in my life, but it's only come with romantic attraction. If I had romantic feelings for someone and not sexual feelings, I would feel so bad and I'd be like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I know I shouldn't feel bad for that, but like, I can't control when I have sexual attraction. Um, because I am demisexual, and just because you are demisexual doesn't necessarily mean sexual attraction will ever show up. It just randomly fucking happens. I hate it. Um, but like if I was ever romantically attracted to someone and not sexually, I would have to like figure that out with them and be like, hey, are you okay with that?
Felt sexually attracted to people in my lifetime. And some of these people I have then gone on to have sex with. And then at the end, I was like, nah, that wasn't it. Not what I was actually looking for. And it's almost this theoretical idea. Like, I can still be sexually attracted to something, but I know the actual act itself isn't as enjoyable. I have a problem with society. And it's.
Same, dude!
Why
Same!
is sex only missionary? Someone please explain that to me. Like, why are all these other intimate experiences, cuddling, kissing, anything else, considered to be like the gold standard? But it's only got to be missionary.
People only regard sex itself as like sex, but technically speaking, it's all considered sex. Like everything, presumably from like point A to
Yeah.
S for sex, I guess.
I like it. The use of the alphabet.
People will absolutely not refer to it as such because you didn't go like all the way. And I've always thought that was super weird.
Okay, so
I completely agree with that. Because, like, there are so many ways, and I feel like everyone also has a completely different definition of what they think is okay and not. Especially, like, if you grew up in, like, a religious context or religious background. It's, I need a flag. Same. Um, you'll get told this is okay, this isn't okay. You shouldn't do that. That's not fine. But like yeah, so I feel like everyone has a different like idea of what it is to them. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway,
comment here, and you can tell me if this rings true. This is from an ace man, powerful warbird. I have some libido and various sexual interests, but I have no feeling, sexual or romantic, towards people. Like, you know how you may have a fantasy that you never actually want to act on. The thing is arousing, but you don't want to bring it into the actual bedroom. I feel that way about sex and relationships in general.
Basically, right, we've already talked about sexuality, we've talked about romanticism, but there's also this other sort of scale of, I guess you could call it sex positivity. And you know,
Yeah.
some asexuals are sex adverse. They never want to have sex. They don't even want to think about it. Some are sex neutral. It's probably how I would describe myself. I could take it or leave it. I think in the last video they talked about washing dishes. You know, like I could flip a coin and they're probably just as enjoyable and unenjoyable at the same time. And then there's also, you know, sex positive ace people who will, you know, they'll happily have sex. Maybe they enjoy the act. Maybe they enjoy the connection they have with their partner.
Yep.
Maybe they're just bored on a Tuesday. Who knows?
Yo.
And I guess
Yo.
going to the masturbation question, like that's also included in this, right? For a lot of ace people, like the body works just fine, the pipes work, you know,
Yeah.
the hormones are all pumping, but there's just not this desire to have sex with people. And I guess to even go more so on that comment, you can have fantasies or ideas or whatever. It still makes you a valid ace
Yep.
person. You can have kinks and you can still be a valid ace person.
100%.
You can have all the sex in the world, none of the sex in the world, and you're still a valid ace person.
It's kind of
Yes! Yes! Oh my god. Sorry if it fucking echoed, but hey, yo, I love that maybe they're just bored on a Tuesday. Yeah, honestly for myself, I would say, so when I'm not having sexual attraction towards someone, I really do teeter on the sex neutral to like sex repulse side of everything. When I do have those sexual feelings, which again are very rare for me, I've only had it, I'm gonna say like 3.5 times. Yeah, 3.5 times in my life. It just like then I become sex positive and I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. But yeah, it just people don't understand that you can again, I haven't had my medication. I don't know where that thought was going. You can be sex repulsed like me and sex positive. Sex positive means you don't object to others having sex. Sex favorable refers to it being open to it yourself. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't understand why people like invalidate asexuals who have done it. Cause like I've heard people be like to ace people who haven't, you know, done anything, which is completely fine. Like, oh, how would you know if you haven't tried it? And then if you do try it, they're like, well, you're not really asexual because you've already done it. You can't win with these people.
kind of just about like the image that you have in like your head about stuff like that. And I don't have any desire to like, I don't know how weird this necessarily sounds, but we already made it past this point, so we can. I don't have the desire to necessarily like touch people and have sex. It's much easier for me to see sex from like outside than it is to take part in it. And that's kind of the thing. Like as far as I know, I may never actually have sex, but I could like watch it and, you know, go from there. But as far as I can tell, I have like no interest to like take part in anything.
I would imagine it's tough to speak about this nuance because I feel like there's a tendency on the internet to be like, oh, well, you've thought about sex, so you're not a real asexual.
Yes.
Have people ever just flat out told you, no, you're not a real asexual?
I've had people in real life tell me it's not a real thing.
Or maybe like on the internet.
Real life on the internet everywhere.
Yeah, it's like it literally happens to ace people, ace content creators, just in general. People don't think asexuality is like a real thing, which boggles my mind because I'm just like, yeah, there are 8 billion people on this planet. Not everyone is going to have the same experiences. If there are hypersexual people, but like that's not a good comparison. I forgot what like the other end of like asexuality is, but it's not allosexual, it's not hypersexual, it's something else. But like, if you have people who really, really, really want it and go after it all of the time, you're gonna have the other end of the spectrum where people just don't have it, and it's fine and it's valid, and I just don't understand why people are so closed-minded when it comes to this kind of thing.
I think people were just trying to navigate the world, and so, you know, that's why we're doing an assumptions episode in the first place, because
Yeah.
there are these stereotypes about groups of people that others have that sort of clouds their judgment. And so,
100%.
you know, there's almost this internal battle, at least for me, being asexual, but also stating, you know, like, I'm asexual, but like X, Y, and Z sort of attached to it. There's this nuance to it. So there's this battle within me where it's, okay, I'm asexual, but also, you know, like I can be these other things, trying to fit this definition people have about asexuality versus the reality of things. And the fact of the matter is, especially on
Yes.
the internet's reductive.
It
It
is.
likes short, simple things that it can digest very easily in 30-second
Yes.
TikToks. And when it comes to asexuality, right, their definition is like someone who never experiences sexual attraction, someone who never has sex.
Yep.
When in reality, we're varied as a group of people.
I don't talk about it to like people I know unless it like actively comes up. But again, my friend groups mostly talk about like comics and stuff. That being
Aw,
said,
wait,
I've had
he's so
multiple
cute.
people tell me this. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Not because it makes them uncomfortable, because the stuff that I am into, it gets to them. Because like I said, I'm into like a bunch of kinks and stuff. But apparently, out of them, I'm the one that they think is like over the edge, and I
Hey,
think
yeah.
that's hilarious.
You're not heteronormative enough. You only need to have an only one missionary sex.
Exactly.
For me, no one in real life. Certainly many people on the internet.
Yeah.
Some of whom that just I'm not interested.
I'm pretty sure this dude is a TikToker, and I'm pretty sure I've seen his videos before. I feel like I've seen him before.
Interacting with, but you just see like the text that you
Jaden is
accidentally
such
go
a
into a
great
tag you
YouTuber
didn't
she
necessarily
made.
want to get into.
She
and
got
then
so much
you
hate for
see,
coming out. She really didn't. It was so unnecessary.
Oh, these people don't think it exists. These people think that there is something inherently wrong with it, and so that's interesting. I just think that's interesting.
Touch grass, everyone.
Yeah.
Touch grass.
Okay, here's the take, and I don't really understand it. They've never watched the first two Transformers movies as a kid. Did you watch the first two Transformers movies as a kid?
They're forgettable films.
I watched them.
I mean, I think they're fine. I think that there's time and place for like just bad action movies. This is just getting into film takes, which I think this is a new. We're shifting gears.
I think what they're talking about is the fact that Megan Fox was in it, and she was so hypersexualized in that the whole thing is like, oh, you didn't fucking watch those when you were a kid, like, and didn't find her sexy? Like, I think that's what they're trying to get at with that.
I think I get it. Because Megan Fox is in that movie.
Oh, I see.
Wow, I'm that ace. I'm that ace.
I ain't even.
That's right. People find Megan Fox hot.
They
Whoever
do.
left that comment, if you remember the two Transformers movies, for the Transformers and not the women, you might be ace.
As an asexual woman, I assume fewer men came out to their peers. A lot of ace spaces feel more catered towards women, which must be difficult to deal with.
That is definitely true. I think everybody in society has this problem of having to be performative in playing their role, whatever that role may be. And certainly as men, our role that society has granted us is to, have sex, particularly with women, and, be breadwinners for household and all of this, and don't be vulnerable, the whole spiel. But,
Patriarchy,
with
burn
that
it down.
need to perform also comes, to some degree, this need to lie. I know that I was questioning my sexuality, right, in high school, and I just kind of continued on like nothing had changed. I still made the same jokes, still made the same comments, participated in the same conversation, even though I had this sort of internal conflict going on because I'm a guy. I have to perform masculinity, and part of performing masculinity means being in these hyper-masculine spaces.
I guess
See, again, that is the... I don't feel bad for men for a lot of things, but like when it comes to queer men, especially ace men, when you are having that quintessential thing that so many allosexual men focus on and talk about and like go after, and you're not having that experience, it must be so isolating. Damn.
I got pretty lucky. One of my best friends.
Not saying it's not isolating for other people on the asexual spectrum, but like, Jesus.
She's ace, but I guess it's also like and that was from college, so it's like it's been a few years since then. But it's like I have that at the very least someone to talk to about, maybe not about it necessarily, but at least we absolutely fully know conversations, no matter how long we go or how deep we go, will end up steering into like sex talk and stuff like that. And so that's important to know to have, but it's interesting. It's not that I've avoided it, it's just, I guess, even having a single person to talk to like that, I've never really like tried to seek out like an ace group.
What was it like telling your parents you were asexual?
Oh,
Have you had that
God.
conversation?
I have not actually. I think part of it's like you have to meet people where they're at. Love my parents very much, but they're older, and sort of the language that I have to communicate isn't the language that they share, right? So to my parents, I am just gay because I'm dating a man, which is good enough for me because I know there's still love there. They still love me, and so they don't need to necessarily know like, oh, by the way, I'm a pan-romantic, demisexual, this, that.
I don't tell anyone anything really unless it like actively comes up. I have no idea what anyone in my family knows about me.
God, I wish. I'm pretty sure. I don't even remember what I told my mom, because I told her that I was biromantic and ace at the same time, and she was like, "As long as you know end up with a man." We've worked past this. We've evolved her. Thank God. But yeah, that I don't think she really cared about me being ace. She just always wanted me to be happy. She's always known I've been independent, so that was never like an issue. She just wanted me to always like take care of me and have good people around. She never really cared specifically about me having like a partner or anything
They
like
might
that.
find this video because I don't know who knows them that recognizes me.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, hi, see what happens. I also have no idea. Again, I have no idea what any of my family's like preconceived ideas about my sexuality might be. Again, I've never had a girlfriend. I never brought anyone home. So like, God only knows what they think.
Mine were pretty fine with it. I had to sort of explain it with, in terms, it helps that they are, Dad's a little bit more progressive when it comes to like premarital stuff. Mom isn't necessarily, love them both dearly though, but it does help that it's just like, hey, I'm not gonna be doing this thing that at least one of you.
Wait, what was the question? Do you think neurodivergent men talk about this sort of thing less as well, even if they are ace? It seems like they have more topics of conversation.
You slightly.
I definitely. So from my experience, obviously neurodivergent folks, neurospicy folks can have different hyperfixations. So there are probably people on the asexual spectrum and not on the asexual spectrum who are neurodiverse and have sex or kinks and that kind of thing as like hyperfixations. Doesn't make them any less asexual, obviously. But yeah, no, it's not something that I've found come up a lot when it comes to neurospicy people, unless it is something that they're interested in. I have an acquaintance who is very much into that kind of thing, and we'll talk about that kind of stuff for a while. She is one of the few people that, like, I'm okay with talking about that kind of stuff because, or like to the extent that she does, because for some reason it's more comfortable with, I don't know, she doesn't make it dirty, you know what I mean? I feel like allosexual people make it dirty sometimes, and I'm just like, she actually talks about it like she respects the person and respects the act in that. I think that's my problem, honestly, is when people make sex jokes or talk about sex in like a really like graphic, like not respecting it, I guess. I don't know, I'm weird. But yeah, most of the time, like around neurospicy people, it's not something that necessarily comes up. That's so interesting.
Slightly disapproves of. It's like, okay, cool.
All right, time for
That's
dinner.
fine. And then and I know they know, but it just like hasn't come up since then. I don't think that they're necessarily worried. They know that I at least really want to get married. So that's, I think, all that they care about. It's like, are you going to get married?
I have a Reddit post here. Maybe y'all can help out this user and give them some advice. They say, I try to come out as asexual during one dinner. However, when asked if I am willing to be in a relationship, I said I am open to it if someone would like to do that, but I am unable to proactively look for one. So
That's
a
valid.
now former work friend who is bisexual and is in a non-legal same-sex union said I was just excusing my inability to get laid and was being an incel. Comments like this is what makes it hard for me to find out what my sexuality is.
I would like to say
Yo.
that incel is involuntary celibate.
Yep.
Involuntary is the key part of that, I think. And it's like, if you make the decision, no matter what other people think your chances may be, the voluntary part of that is very important, at the very least. I hope we all agree about that, but I don't want to.
As long as you're interested or looking for or open to the idea of being in a relationship, then you're fine. Like I said, it's like once you give up and have just resigned yourself to being alone or being in whatever current state that you're in, that's, I guess, when you cross over.
You get to define the title that you wear at the end of the day, and I think it sounds like the commenter had everything figured out till they talked to their coworker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
By the way, I
literally.
think their coworker's an asshole if they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're an incel, by the way. But
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think if you're comfortable in your asexuality, like, it doesn't really matter sort of what other people say about you, because we've all
100%.
had to deal with that to some degree, whether we're online or in person, someone challenging our orientation. But we know sort of in our heart of hearts, like, this is who we are. And so
I think that's so interesting when people try to fight you on, like, your own self. You know what I mean? Like, when you tell someone, hey, I'm ace, or I'm bi, or I'm trans, I'm non-binary, I'm non-monogamous, something that is outside of, like, the norm of gay or lesbian, because I feel like people get that. I mean, that even happens to lesbians, I'm not gonna lie. But people will sit there and challenge you and be like, that's not real, you're making it up. I'm like, I'm right here. Like, I know myself more than you. I'm trying to tell you something about me. I'm literally sitting here as living proof that this is a thing and this is something I'm experiencing, and you just shut it down because of your own not willing to learn or grow or perceive something outside of your own experience. Like, shut the fuck up.
in terms of, like,
Sorry.
drawing a line between asexual and incel, I think
This is why I could never be on one of these, because I would curse too much and Anthony would have to, like, nix me. But also, Anthony, if you see this, hit me up for, like, a non-binary one.
if you identify as asexual, that is what you are. If you identify as incel, that's what you are. Sounds like the commentator already had it figured out.
Do they find their partners attractive? I don't know how to say it since they're asexual, but do they ever think their partners are sexy? I think my husband is asexual, long story, but I can't help but feel like shit about myself.
I
Aw.
guess this one's on me.
I so, but yeah, you're in a relationship.
I find my partner to be extremely beautiful and extremely sexy at times. I think when you're in a romantic relationship, there's so much more than just the physicality of things.
Yes.
I love his personality. I love the way he makes me laugh.
Aw,
I love
wait, I'm
the
gonna cry.
shit
He's so
posting we
cute.
do when we're talking to each other. And it all adds up into, like, this is a beautiful human being that I get to share my time with. So, you know, to whoever asked the question, I would say, you know, I hope your husband says you're beautiful more, honestly. I think that's what it comes down to. Relationships are hard. You're navigating life with another person. Even from the comment, they say, like, I think my husband's asexual.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's probably a conversation you need to have.
Yeah.
It is a difficult conversation to have because for a lot of couples, sex is like a main sticking point. So I don't know, like, from this comment, like, what the sexual relationship is like. Is it really about sex? Is it about sort of how they look at each other, how they talk to each other? So it's
Yeah.
something that you have to hash out with your partner at the end of the day.
My favorite word, communication.
Yeah.
Andrew, can you get into how you met your partner? You said at first you identified as demisexual, but now you identify as asexual. What was the process like changing that identity?
I met my partner at
People are more than just
essentially
their
like a queer
appearance,
get-together.
yes.
We met, we talked for like a year. I think that's when I was really becoming asexual, transitioning away from demisexual to asexual. So I was like, I don't want anything to do with this person. No shots to you. I love you.
Yeah.
I love you very much. But at the time, I was like, I don't really want to. I think I was also very aromantic at the time, too. That was also a transition I made to becoming more like pan-romantic. Sort of that year sort of ended, and then I was more open to having a partner in general. And so this was someone who like truly understood me, and I knew that they actually cared for me as well. And I knew that sort of if I'm signing up for a relationship with them, I know that there's someone who can sort of ride this roller coaster with me.
I think that's so important, honestly, for any relationship, but especially queer outside of like normal, I don't want to say normal, but like outside of like allosexual relationships. If you're in a relationship with someone who is on the asexual spectrum or even the aromantic spectrum, you really have to like define and figure out like all of that. And communication is so important. And you just need to like, oh my god, my leg is like asleep. Come on, buddy. Am I gonna have to walk? Come on, wake up. But yeah, you really have to like figure that out amongst the two of you, what you're comfortable with, what you're not, how to make the other person feel valued, and seen, and all of that kind of stuff. And it goes both ways. But yeah, it's so important, especially when you're an ace person, having that other person really understand who you are, and it has nothing to do with them. Like, you're asexual no matter what, whether you're in a partnership or not. But like having someone who truly understands like your aceness and your I'm gonna cry. Your aceness and just your identity and how you function. And if you're not in the mood or all of the time, they don't take it personally. And if you are and all of that kind of stuff, like, it's just, you need someone to be able to go with those ebbs and flows and realize that you still love them. You still love them, and that's it.
And I can ride their roller coaster as well. And it took time for my partner to understand my asexuality as well. I know that earlier on in the relationship, when we had first started dating, maybe 3 months, he had mentioned that he was actually disappointed to hear I was asexual when he first met me, because he was really into me and he wanted to be my partner, but we found a way to make it work.
As an asexual man, I constantly assume I'm not really asexual and somehow faking it.
My other favorite definition: sexuality is fluid.
Yeah.
It's like it could change. It could be different. It could be different from what you feel. But if you feel
I
you
like
are
him.
in like right now, then that's a perfectly valid label for him to have.
You're still yourself.
Yeah.
Like no one else can like define you as except you.
I mean, you don't have to have a label right now if one doesn't fit all that
Yes.
well, right? And so, if they're feeling like they're ace, or, if they're faking it or whatever, like, they can fly without a label for however long they want until they, figure it out. It is a journey at the end of the day, and it does take time. It's not something you can necessarily figure out tomorrow. And talk to anybody who's queer, and that is the case.
How would you
I also feel like it's such like a dig in our community from people in the community and outside the community of like, oh, you've switched your label so many times, you've switched up your sexuality, your gender, your pronouns, your name, blah 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 blah. And it's like, who cares? Who cares? If you identify with that label, if you were like, that label was my experience for that amount of time, that's perfectly fine. And it's valid, and you were having that experience, and if it's fluid, you'll experience the next thing. Who cares? Literally, stop trying to control people. Oh my fucking god.
respond to the assumption that ace people are not part of the broader LGBT community?
It is definitely difficult to navigate the LGBT community
Yes.
as someone who's ace, right?
Yep.
But like asexuality, we've sort of seen the numbers. What is it, like 1 to 5% of the population?
It
And
is.
We don't even know if that's different between men and women. So we're just such a small minority that sometimes it's hard to be in those spaces.
It
And
is.
even then, like, there are plenty of other individuals who have trouble navigating that space. I've definitely seen, for example, transphobia and like, functions that are more geared towards LGBT as well.
A lot.
Yo, we can have a whole other video about like the transphobia within the queer community. But yeah, it's hard to. It can be hard. I've never felt disconnected from the queer community because I'm biromantic and I've had feelings for people of multiple genders and all of that kind of stuff. But so I've never really felt outside the community. But I know that there are ace people who are heteroromantic but asexual or somewhere on the asexual spectrum who don't really feel like they're part of the community, and if they want to identify with the community, it's like we're here for them. And then there are some heteroromantic asexuals who don't really. But yeah, it's because there's so many people in the community that don't really understand asexuality, don't think that it's real, that it's a thing, that we should even be there, like, because they just want to focus on the sexual aspect of everything, because being gay, man being with another man, being a lesbian, woman being with another woman, it's so focused on who you're having sex with, so when you're not having sex, presumably, whatever, with anyone, they're like, well, why are you here? But it's like we're still having a queer experience because we're not experiencing what hetero, cis, allosexual people are experiencing. But yeah, asexual people definitely belong at Pride. We belong in a community. It doesn't matter what your romantic orientation is along with being ace. If you're ace and you want to be part of the community and you identify with the community, you're valid.
A lot of it does depend on because remember,
Oh my eye.
unless everyone else can pull out your LGBTQ carrying card, the national one.
I'm gonna get that card.
Do my dues.
So
I
definitely,
do
like,
need to repay my
we're
dues.
not like a
Let's
national
go.
monolith or even like a worldwide monolith. It's all like, it is simply, at least from my view, a way to explain. I personally identify as, or like asexual, but I put like myself under queer first. I do queer then asexual if anyone's like asking me for labels, because I think it's important to establish that it is not what some would say the majority experience is.
Yes.
So it's the LGBTQ umbrella covers all of these, but it's like they're all different. Everything's different under the umbrella. The umbrella is simply the gateway to that. I would say that you don't even have to seek the spaces out if you don't want to.
Yes.
But it's at least there, and like checking that out with like the people around you is also very helpful. Or
I do wish there were more like specifically ace spaces, not just online, but IRL too. I know that like some major cities have them. I know there's one in LA, and that's one of the women who was in the last video that Anthony did, the Assumptions. She was part of like the LA asexual group. There's probably some in my area, but yeah, no, I'm a baby and I hate IRL functions. But like I really do wish there were more spaces for specifically ace or aromantic people or both to like meet up and just be friends. Let's just have like a giant D&D session of only ace or aro
maybe
folks.
finding something online.
I definitely feel if you feel like you're part of the LGBT or queer community, to go to those functions.
Yeah.
And if you have to, make a space for yourself.
Is there any good ace male representation in the media?
Todd
One I know of.
Sanchez.
That's Todd from BoJack Horseman.
There we
A
go.
wonderful show. I do like the way that Todd is represented in the show, because he sort of has it seems as if he has this like sort of coming to moment where he realizes he's asexual.
It's great.
They treat sort of the topic of him and his romantic partner at the time with grace in terms of how they communicate with each other, one being someone who's not ace and him being ace. And they also don't make it all about the fact that he is ace. He is a character with a personality that exists beyond his sexuality, and we know that media has had a hard time in
Roll
the last
for
couple
cake.
decades sort of getting to that point where it's like, oh, this character is more than just being gay or ace or a woman or whatever.
It's
Yes.
either you're sexually attractive or they just don't mention it. Because a lot of
Yeah.
anime do that. They just either you're just obsessed with women, or they just don't mention it at all. Which was when Mike brought up the one that I wanted to point out was Luffy from One Piece.
Yeah.
But like again, it's not that he's actually asexual. It's just that he just doesn't talk about it at all, which I honestly think is like a really interesting thing that people do when they write like characters. And it's like male and female characters.
Yeah.
They kind of just like erase it entirely.
They do.
So that people don't think about it. And it's gotten to the point where unless you actively say it, then just everyone is, because there is so little representation for asexually in general, but definitely for men.
I do like representation that is, you have no
Explicit.
idea, and then all of a sudden you hear a comment either by the actor or the director in like behind the scenes. They're like, yeah, we're just playing it as asexual. That's what it kind of.
They did that. They did that with Sherlock. I'm pretty sure Benedict Cumberbatch at one point was like, yeah, he's kind of asexual. Or maybe it was David Tennant who said it about the Doctor. I'm mixing up my British actors. I know that Alistair from Has Been Hotel is ace and aro, and Vizzy Pop has said it multiple times, and they've referenced it a bit in the show, which I appreciate. But yeah, there is such little representation of asexuality. I know the one in Heartstopper I wasn't particularly a fan of, mostly because the radio demon. Y'all, I love me some Has Been and Helluva. I've cried. But the representation in Heartstopper, I feel like hopefully they'll be able to do a bit more with Isaac. He just feels so pushed to the side and like, oh, now we have to make him ace and aro and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the Heartstopper one wasn't the best. It wasn't. I know there's another one, Heartbreak High, I think, is the name of it. I haven't seen it. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's on TikTok. Not TikTok. I've seen people talk about it on TikTok. That's what my brain was doing. I think is it on Netflix or Hulu maybe? I don't know. I've seen some other asexual content creators talk about that one. So I might give that a watch. But as someone who has their degree in theater and should have been film as well, I feel very strongly about not only queer representation but asexual representation, and at some point I would love to get back into the industry and show queer aro queer platonic relationships in a more authentic way and like a stated way, and have characters be like, yeah, I'm asexual, or I'm demi, or I'm gray, or like whatever, because there's just none of it.
I'd like to see.
Yeah.
But it's like still a pointed asexuality, and not like it just happens to work.
Every scientist from like every G and PG movie.
Well, their love is science.
The love of
people
science.
who aren't ace can learn from the ace community.
The separation between sexual attraction, romantic attraction, and aesthetic attraction, definitely.
A way of thinking where you can navigate the world without sex.
Yes.
Yeah, if like you're not already kind of in that mind space, maybe finding topics of conversation that don't revolve around sex or sexual acts, which sometimes on the internet it's pretty difficult.
Remember, have deep, meaningful
Yeah, it's like,
conversations.
he's so
with your
cute!
guy friends.
Oh my
Not
god.
Also go in person. I have a deep dark secret. I don't like a lot of the stereotypes that we get online. I don't think the flag colors are very good.
Flag's kind of muted. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's this pride flag or the whole rainbow, and we're like, well,
Never mind, he's not cute anymore. He just ruined it for me.
we have purple, gray, and white.
I love purple.
You're right.
No, but if you like it, it's fine.
Okay, so if you were to redesign the flag
God.
right now, how would you do it?
Get away from the colors. I think the shapes. I think we should start taking notes from like Ohio. The shape
What
of the
the-
flag.
that's
we
a-
can change the shape of the
What the
flag
hell?
too, and we could have that be a nice little funky thing. We
Need
gotta-
some pizzazz.
Yeah, we
Oh
need.
my god.
We need to just change it up.
We actually
No! Okay. I love that. Minus that last bit when he was just like, yeah, the flag's ass. I love monochrome and purple, so the ace flag is the best. That's what I'm saying. I love the ace flag. Like, what do you mean, dude? You had me until the last moment, and then you got me. I'm like, dude. Dominate Ohio. Listen, y'all. I haven't been against Ohio, so let's not. Yeah. The creator of Has Been in Hellbell is problematic in multiple ways. The fact that she supports Blair White. Does she really? That makes me sad. Does she actually? I'm gonna have to fucking look that up. Amazon is kind of a horrible company, though. They did something real weird in the pilot. You guys gonna make me hate Busy Pop. I mean, I know that she's, like, not the best, but I didn't know that she actually supported Blair White. Does Busy Pop support Blair White? It's all in caps. She has transphobic accusations. I'm gonna look into this later. I'm gonna cry, y'all. It's been my hyperfixation for like months. No! Please, I don't want Busy Pop to support these people. Cares, it's sad though, there's so much good stuff on Prime. You can't get anywhere else. Well, shit. Like, you. The whole chat's sad now. I'm gonna look this up. Because I straight up, like, it's literally been my hyperfixation. I'm so upset. Only if you don't love the pirate. I'm mourning the loss of a good creator. This makes me so sad. It's my, literally, like, you're seeing me go through, like, an actual, you can hate the person, but, like, their creation. I know, but, like, at the same time, it's, sorry y'all feel like that needed to be said. God. No, it's fine. I'm gonna do research into it and see what the situation is. I'm surprised. Oh, God. Ugh. Better to know, yeah, it is. There's no point where sometimes the creators are ruined, though. At least the feeling of them. Yeah, that's true. Because, like, I mean, I literally stopped watching fucking, oh my god, what I stopped watching? I stopped watching, Doctor Who because of Stephen Moffat. I was obsessed with that for years while he was, like, still there. But Stephen Moffat's also ass. How can you call, like, your pregnant wife a whale and not be considered a bad person? I haven't watched Has Been. Good. Because now it's ruined. I did like the shows, too. Wait, is there... Like, there's a trans femme character in Hell of a Boss, though. There was. Yeah, that's why I said I'm gonna, like, look into it. I'm gonna research it. My dad likes Jeremy Clarkson. He must be one of the worst people on earth. Like, I fucking hate that. Like, I hate that bad people get... Like, Amazon should make my show that I want to make. No, I need to write that first. But maybe it's just internet rumors, but we'll see. Yeah, no, because yeah, that's why I said I'll look into it. Yeah, I can't stand Clarkson. Why are bad people creative? Because they're bitches. I hope it's just rumors like the other drama with, yeah. I'm like actually upset. I had the love for Harry Potter until I found out J.K. Rowling was transphobic. Hope they're just rumors too. Yeah, no, y'all look into it. Cause this, oh, that sucks. Lots of Doctor Who have very trans themes. Yeah, but Muffet also did a whole bunch of like trans jokes and gay jokes, and he was very misogynistic in how he went about his female characters. So many of my favorite rock bands have terrible people of them. Oh shit, now. Plus, David Tennant verbally supports trans people. He does. I believe he has a non-binary child. Pippin, do you want to come say hi? Say hi to stream while we all cry about Busy Pop being a horrible person. Say hi. This is my child. Do you see the resemblance? Okay, baby boy, I'm sorry. There's a cat in the background. He's my emotional support in this moment of sadness. I'm smiling right now, but I'm breaking on the inside. You have a beautiful, fluffy child. He wants to get fed. Boop, boop, boop. Mwah. I'm doing research. She's not actually transphobic, but I don't know yet. Yeah, like I'm trying to see, and like the Reddit thread I found on it is like, oh, it's a complicated situation. And I'm like, oh, don't say that. Also, so I'm gonna be ending this stream in like 3 minutes. But y'all, I have my top surgery consultation in 2 days. Ah! Just so y'all know, I'm so excited. Feed the good boy. Fluffy kitty. Are you a fluffy kitty? Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna let y'all know how it goes, because I'm also going to be asking the surgeon about if testosterone, me potentially going on low-dose T, would, like, affect the surgical date, or, like, what would happen. But, yeah. I'm so excited. I've been wanting this, literally, since I was, like, 18 or 19. So 8-9 years. That's a long time to need and want something. Yeah, I'm excited. And just so y'all know, I've been thinking about doing a non-flat top surgery, which I don't know if like y'all see a lot, because I know a lot of non-binary people just get the complete flat. I don't necessarily want that. So yeah, it's gonna most likely be like a non-flat top surgery, which I'm also excited for. I wanted top surgery since before I knew what being trans. So I always wanted like something done with them. Even before I like knew it was a possibility, I was like, I hate these. Like, someone fix them. But like when I was younger, I was really against plastic surgery because my father, who got plastic surgery and became a menace after he got it. I'm not gonna tell you all about that because that was traumatizing. But yeah, so I was very against any kind of like body mods or plastic surgery until I found out about top surgery. And then I was like, me though. But yeah, that's real cool as well. I can't wait to have bottom surgery and hormones. Oh my god. It does affect the results because of fat and muscle movement. Yeah, that's what my therapist was saying, because y'all, I have a non-binary therapist, which is like top tier. But yeah, that's what they were saying, because they recently got their top surgery as well. So they were telling me about it, and I was like, I recently found out about like finasteride and pairing it with low-dose T, and I was thinking more about that, like what would a surgeon say? And so they were telling me about like going to the consultation first, asking about it, and then deciding whether or not I wanted to go on low-dose T. So whatever the surgeon says, I'ma do, because the low-dose tea and finasteride is more of like a newer thing that I've been contemplating. I wanted these on since I grew them. Since I grow them, they've been unwanted for the last, I can't math, 13 years of my life. God, I'm old. Holy shit. I believe some surgeons don't require tea. I don't believe he does. I don't believe the one I'm going to does. I know he might require a note, like a recommendation letter from my therapist, but like I've been talking about this with my therapist for like almost 2 years, so I'm pretty sure. Oh my god, almost 3 years? Oh god, I've been in therapy for 3 years? I don't know how to bring it up to ask though. Oh. See, okay. I was lucky enough to find a queer-friendly clinic who had queer therapists, and I was like, put me with your trans one, please. So, yeah, we, it's so funny because literally my therapist is like 7 months older than me, and I'm just like, dude, hey, what's good? Like, I just spit everywhere. But, I'll literally just have therapy in my bed, and sometimes I'll just be like, hey, what's up? Like, because I just don't, I'm so nonchalant with them, it's so bad. When it comes to, like, asking, I really don't know how to approach it, because obviously, like, if you have a relationship with this person, well, like a therapist-patient relationship for a while, and then you just find out that they're homophobic or transphobic, it can be a little oof. But I would say, honestly, like, feel it out, bring up some queer topics, not necessarily pertaining to you, be like, talk a little bit about Pride Month, and be like, oh, my friends are going to this Pride thing, that kind of thing. Like, bring it up mildly, that where it doesn't, like, pertain to you, and see how they react. That's, like, my advice for anyone who wants to come out as well, because I'm just like, you should never put yourself in that danger, potentially. So always be like, oh, my friend, or, like, bring up something that has recently happened in the queer community. Be like, oh, how do you feel about, like, Jojo Siwa? Or, like, something like that, you know what I mean? To see, like, their reactions and do that kind of stuff. Okay, the end of stream is coming to an end. I will be here next week at Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. again. I'm going to see, because Ace Dad Advice was on a show on Peacock. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I will get it before next Tuesday. If it's on Peacock though, and I'm not sure if they'll shut me down if I try to stream it on here so I can react to it with all of you. But I'm so proud of them, and I want to support them, and, like, let y'all see it too, because it's really cool that more not news outlets, but, like, more mainstream platforms and streaming services are taking asexuality seriously, and even putting ace content creators on their platforms. So I wanted to react to it today, but I was like, I don't know, I have to look into YouTube guidelines. I don't want to get struck or anything. So I have to look into that for next week. If not, I will potentially be reacting to Blair White's video, because, not gonna lie, she needs a little smackdown, and I like to talk bad shit. So you'll get to see an unhinged Lynn if we can't watch a wholesome Cody Ace Dad Advice episode from Peacock. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you and your lovely faces and just being here in general. I hope you all enjoyed the cat from before. And yeah, happy Pride. I'll let y'all know how my top surgery consultation goes. And I'll see you next week. Watch out, I'm going to be posting long form videos again Thursdays and Saturdays. So my schedule is going to be stream Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday long form, and then my normal shorts during the week, whatever. But yeah, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. I'm sorry my camera keeps zooming in and out, but yeah. Have a good night, y'all, or whatever time it is.